Hi everyone, Karen in here from the Cut at Home Design team. Today I'm going to use the Penny Black Wet and Wild stamp set. I just love these little kids. Get the glare out of it. With their squirt guns and capes. And I'm going to be doing a couple of cards today and sharing with you some of my card making tips as we go. So I hope you enjoy this. One of my first tips, and I have to say this is probably one that the rest of you will be going, well, duh, is I used to buy card bases, very expensive, and instead somebody said, well, cut an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper in half, either lengthwise at 4 1/4 or widthwise at 5 1/2, and you end up with basically two card bases, one of them, or that you just fold in half. Very inexpensive way to make your card bases, and of course very easy. I probably should be scoring them halfway, but it works pretty well too. So then I have two card bases. Cool tip, huh? The next tip I use is that I use a lot of ribbon and twine and lace on my cards, primarily because it adds just a little bit of texture and dimension without adding a lot of bulk. This is 3 Girl Jam ribbon, and it's pretty thin, but a nice bow will add some dimension and texture to your cards. I use Pinterest, and I use card sketches quite often. I tend to redraw them onto a piece of paper just so that I have them right in front of me. And I don't always follow them very literally, but I still use them. So in this one, what I did was I used some Spellbinders Celebrations paper and cut the pieces. Anytime you have like a focal piece or a matte piece, if you cut it and then cut this side and this side 1/4 inch bigger, it will add that 1/8 inch border that's so nice around, you know, for layering. What I did here was I stamped this image that has these little water drops onto the background piece of paper. Those are like impossible to cut out. And then I colored her and fussy cut her out, and of course not cutting those little water drops. And it looks like it's just right onto the paper. So I am going to layer up this piece. Add some adhesive. And put that on here. Try to get it at least somewhat straight. Going to layer on this piece. This paper, by the way, is Spellbinders Celebrations. I really love it. It's just super fun, super colorful. One of the things that I do is that when I add ribbon, I don't always tape it down to the card. I just wrap it around the edge. A little bit easier. And just cut that off. And then I add a little bit of extra tape on top of that, or adhesive on top of that ribbon, just so that it doesn't come loose. One of the things that I like to do with my cards as well is I like to corner chomp one end, or, you know, just to add a little bit of interest. So this here is a corner chomper. I'm going to do that. I like the way the kind of a unique shape to it. And I'm going to adhere this onto here, trying to get it somewhat straight. And corner chomp again that one end. Let's see. And then I'm going to add This is Scotch mounting tape. It's a good pop tape because it, once again, doesn't add a lot of bulk. It's fairly thin, but it does add a little bit of dimension and gets the image off of the base of the card. I like that as well. And I'm just gonna stick that down on here. When I first started card making, I would be very careful about lining things up and putting them perfectly in the middle. And I actually, because I'm not very good at that, oops, I forgot to do something. Because I'm not very good at that, I would end up with things all janky and crooked. I am going to adhere this sentiment underneath, and I forgot to do that. So I'm going to put adhesive on here. There we go. Simple. And then put this down like so. Oops. Yeah. And then, like I said, I just glue the image right onto that pattern paper, and then I don't have to fussy cut little teeny pieces out. Makes it much easier to fussy cut. And so this goes like so. She is so cute. And then I'm just going to add, this is my 3 Girl Jam bow tire. I'm not very good at tying bows, so I tend to use this thing quite a bit. They make these in all sorts of styles and from all sorts of manufacturers. Or if you're good at tying bows, just tie a bow. Okay, let's see. And then I'm going to glue dot this right onto my card. Trim the edges a little bit. Okay, great. Another thing, oh my goodness, I should put this down on the card base, huh? Like so. And then corner chomp. Another thing I like to do with my cards is add a little bit of bling, and so I will be adding a few sequins. I don't like to line things up very much, and so I just kind of randomly throw some sequins on there. Somewhere. Maybe there, just to have a little bit of sparkle to the card. And then when I do find a card sketch that I like this one, it's fairly simple. I tend to make multiple cards with it, and so I made another card here that is very similar as far as sketch goes, but of course looks quite a bit different because I changed up the patterns and changed up the way that I did the image on the card. To summarize, 8.5 by 11 pieces of cardstock cut in half make great card bases. I like the ribbon, I like the bling. I tend to corner chop one corner just because I think it adds interest, especially if I'm not using a die cut that adds a little bit different shape to it. I use Pinterest a lot for card sketches. And my final tip to you is not to stress. Everyone will love your creations and no one will send them back and tell you you did it wrong. So just enjoy it, have fun with it. Thank you so much for watching today. For more information on the products I used and to see again these card making tips, be sure to check out the Cut at Home blog at www.cutithome.com/blog and stay crafty.